Hello, welcome to the week 10 of the Nintendo Switch 2 countdown. With this, we are less than a week until the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. As of recording, it's actually under 5 days, which is very, very exciting. We just had the Nintendo Switch 1 Direct yesterday as of recording, which is why this is coming out a little bit later, because I wanted to wait until after that, because it felt silly to potentially predict stuff that was going to be in that Direct for next week and then have it show up like hours after I uploaded that one. So I've waited for that. So just 5 days left. This week is going to be all about the Switch 2 presentation itself. I'm going to kind of go through roughly like where I think things are going to get announced, what's going to be there, some specifics on a couple games, some more general stuff. And yeah, I think it's going to be good fun. So let's get into it. So generally speaking, I think this Direct is going to be about an hour long. Directs are usually in the kind of 40-45 minutes. The last one we had was 30 minutes, but that was kind of just end of life Switch 1 stuff, so that's understandable. Not quite end of life, you know what I mean, end of Switch 1 being their primary focus. I think they're going to kind of fill out most of the year, maybe all of it, with what's coming. I think there's a good chance we don't get a June Direct, possibly not even a September one, depending on how deep they go with this one. But even if they do fill out the Direct, I think there is a good chance they will, and then just have a couple surprises of next year at their quote-unquote E3 Direct, the June. I think they usually do it late June these days. One they could do that. But yeah, I think this is gonna give us a good idea of what's coming when. I think the Switch 2 itself will launch summer, so I think there'll be like the launch games being the summer games, then there'll be the fall, and then into the winter. And I think they'll give us a good idea of what games are coming within those periods, even if they don't give us exact dates for everything. In fact, beyond the launch games, I think we probably won't get exact dates. Maybe like something that comes a bit after, maybe we'll get an exact date for that. But I think mostly it's going to be launch games or within the weeks after that, and then rest of the year, like just general periods, with a few teasers for next year as well. I think they're going to completely show off the hardware. They'll show some of the UI, but I don't think they'll focus it. They're not going to be like, here's the new home screen. I think they'll just kind of show it as they show off other things. And yeah, they're going to do the release date, the price, launch games, pre-order information, everything else that we want from it. I think they're going to do that. So as for like the Direct itself, how it's going to start, I think they're not just going to go straight into a game like they usually, maybe even always, I think they just usually do for a Direct. I think instead we're going to get an introduction from the president of Nintendo, Shintaro Furukawa. I think he'll just give a general statement about how good Switch has been for the company, how they want to continue that with Switch 2, how they believe in it, how it's great, best thing ever, all of that kind of stuff. And then he'll be passing it on to Shinya Takahashi, the usual Direct host. I think he's then going to kind of go into like a hardware breakdown, showing off the unit itself, the hardware. I'm sure he'll go, oh, you can still detach the Joy-Cons, you can still put it in a dock and play it on TV, or use it in handheld or tabletop. I think he'll go into some of the specifics with like screen size, if it's LED than that, but I don't think it's going to be, unfortunately. If that rumored 120Hz thing is true, I think we'll get that there. I think there's supposed to be better Wi-Fi, and is it better Bluetooth or the same Bluetooth? But yeah, I think they'll do stuff like that. And then I think he will pass it off to Yoshiaki Koizumi, who is I think more game focused from what I understand, or remember from the Switch presentation. He kind of dealt with the game side of things, but he also showed off the hardware, and I think he will do that again, but in a bit more specific detail of like the new features. I think he'll be the one to present the MouseCon, showing that off. If there's any different colorways, I feel like there might be one other one that we haven't seen yet. I'm expecting some improvements to HD Rumble, whether they give that a new name or just like Ultra HD Rumble or HD Plus Rumble or something along those lines. I think he'll show off that. well, as much as you can in a video presentation. And then I think there's going to be a new Pro Controller as well, probably going to be largely similar, but hopefully I just wanted to have a nice, more premium feel. But we'll see how that goes. He'll then kick it back to Takahashi, who I think will then reveal release date, price, and my expectations for those. I think it's going to launch June 5th, so that's about 8 weeks after this presentation, and I think it's going to be priced. My pricing, I'm kind of basing off of a US dollar price, because pound and euros can kind of go up and down depending on taxes, and now with America, like the tariffs affecting things. So I'm going US price. I think they're going to put it at $449.99, which I think is going to upset some people. I think that's going to be the RRP. I think that might be taking into account tariffs and things like that. So hopefully elsewhere, like in Europe and UK, we get it for maybe $400, but I'm still just going to say $449.99, pounds, euros. To then finally show off the actual console, I think they'll get into a game. I think the first game we'll see is Mario Kart, what I think will be called Mario Kart X or Cross. I think they'll just show off a new trailer first of all, which just goes over a few bits of it. It's going to confirm 24-player races, and that I think is going to be the gimmick for this title. Mario Kart usually has like a gimmick, whether it be anti-grav racing, paragliders, what else has there been? Mission mode in DS, I think that was one. Motorcycles in Mario Kart Wii. I think 24-player races is going to be the gimmick, and that's going to be the only like new thing. And also then that they're not going to call it the gimmick, obviously, but then it means, you know, if it doesn't work so well and they want to do another game, they're going to do another game at some point. And then they can go back to 12 if they want to, and it won't be super strange. So yeah, they're going to show that off. I'm going to guess that they're going to show off one new item, and I just kind of randomly picked one thing that I think could work. I think you're going to be able to get the Poltergust, and I think it'll give you a slight speed boost. You'll like basically put it on the front of your car, give you a slight speed boost, and then it'll also suck in any items, so any shells, bananas. Maybe you'll be able to move it backwards and forwards to like catch the different items. That could be interesting. And then the idea being, once it sucks something up, like a second or two later, it'll just spit it out in a random direction again. So it protects you momentarily, but then it could just fire it back out, and then it might come back and hit you on the other side or something. I think that could be quite good fun. And I assume it would interact with other players. Maybe it would help with the drafting. So if you're like behind somebody, it'll help you speed up to them closer. The idea being like you're pulling yourself towards them. That could be quite cool. Similarly, I think I'm guessing they're going to show off 3 brand new characters for the series that have never been in there. So I actually don't know for sure that these characters haven't been in Tour. I don't think that they have. But if they have, then my bad. But I'm going to guess we're going to get Professor Egad from Luigi's Mansion to kind of coincide with the Poltergust item. But also, I just really, really want him. I think we'll get a Toasterina, I believe they're called. The little Mexican skull people from Super Mario Odyssey. I think they're really cool, and I would love to see them in Mario Kart, hopefully with some like color options like Yoshi has. That'd be nice. And then for the final one, I'm predicting, I don't even know if they have a name, but the Brutal from Super Mario Odyssey, that I think is the first one you fight, which has the big chain jump, and you kind of take control of it and like use it to, I'm going to say kill her, but Mario's not quite that violent. So I think, yeah, she'll be one, but she'll be, everyone will go, why we didn't want that, but okay, why not? The big thing that I think they're going to show off, and that I really want, is an adventure mode. I want it to be similar to Crash Team Racing, where you've got this like big level, you drive around, you find different missions, maybe there could be secrets to find, some cool secret unlockable characters, that'd be nice. And then you go into it and do the race or the mission or the boss or whatever it is. The map that you're driving around itself, I think, will be based off of racetracks. It'll basically be an expanded version of the racetrack. But when you play it as the race, like there'll be large areas blocked off, so it's not like going to be a fully open thing. But that would be cool. But yeah, I think it's just going to be very blocked off when you actually race it, and it'll be a normal raceway, but then in the adventure mode you can explore more of that world. I think that'd be a really cool thing. I don't think they're going to show off any guest characters here. I think either that we save for later reveals, like maybe in the run-up to the launch of it, they'll start doing it, or I think they'll be completely DLC related again. I think they don't want people to think this is Super Kart Bros. I think they want people to know it's Mario Kart, and then they'll show off some guest characters. If I'm going to guess one of the guest characters we'll get later down the line, I think we might get Sonic as kind of a team-up cross-promotion with Sonic, what's it called? Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, I think it's called, which I played the beta of and it seems quite good. So yeah, I think we'll get a Sonic character, like Sonic himself will be in it. That'll probably be DLC maybe when that other game comes out. As for the launch itself, I think it's going to be the launch title for Switch 2, so that will also be coming out 5th of June. I really don't want the release dates for these to be June because I can't take off any time off work during this June. I'm really hoping it manages to squeeze in at the end of May. But anyway, let's go on to the next one. So I think next they'll show off the casual game that they usually have for a launch at the launch of a new system. They're always unpredictable, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to say it'll be like 1-2 Switch levels of like, oh, it's pretty decent, but yeah, and then they want to move on. Hopefully it's better than that. I'd love like a Nintendo Land style thing where it is a bit more involved, a bit more fun, or I want to say normal gamers, but I don't know if that's the wrong way of looking at it. But for people, more people, and that'll be a launch day thing. Maybe a pack-in, or maybe there'll be like a more expensive option that includes it. But yeah, I also don't think it's going to be like 1-2 Switch 2 or 1-2 free Switch or whatever. I think it's going to be something different, but around that kind of level of quality. So next, they're going to go into what is one of the things I'm most looking forward to, which is them talking about Switch 1 games being played on Switch 2 and detailing how that's going to work. So I think, first of all, they're going to say every Switch 1 game, well, with few exceptions, every Switch 1 game is going to be playable on Switch 2 in just the same way you play them on Switch 1, full stop. Then they're going to go, however, some titles will get additional enhancements and will fall under the label of what they've kind of leaked after the Direct yesterday, Nintendo Switch 2 editions. If you didn't see it, there was some kind of fine text, small print? Oh, I've forgotten the word, fine print. At the bottom of one of the pages about this new downloadable video, like virtual game card page, and it described, it said that Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive and Nintendo Switch 2 edition games would only be transferable to Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. Now, the fact that they're distinguishing between exclusives and editions tells us that, yes, there are going to be Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games. Of course, that could just be minor things, but I'm hoping it's more. And obviously, we don't know how that's going to work. But so for my prediction, they're going to confirm Switch 2 editions, and they're going to say that these Switch 2 editions are able to take advantage of the full hardware. Because even without the Switch 2 edition, some games are just going to benefit from running on Switch 2, like I think Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening. That should just run at 60 FPS the whole time, or at least much higher frame rates, because that's what they were trying to do initially, and now they have the power to actually do it. But these Switch 2 editions are going to take full advantage. They're going to be able to use like DLSS, if there's ray tracing, they're able to do that, higher frame rates, faster loading, just DLSS in general, to make even higher resolutions without sacrificing any frame rate. And they're going to specify that not all of those enhancements are going to be for every Switch 2 edition. So pricing. I believe that the way they'll handle this is if there is a Switch 2 edition of a Switch 1 game, it will be available on the new eShop at its original RRP. So Breath of the Wild was $60, so that will then be $60 on the Switch 2 eShop. However, if you own the original version, there will be a $20 upgrade to the new version. But to make it even more complicated, because that's how things usually go with Nintendo, from after the Direct onwards, any Switch 1 game you purchase will include the Switch 2 edition for free. The worry there is that they're basically fining people for buying their games early, which isn't a great look, but Nintendo have been known to not care about how things look, so I think that's fair enough. I also don't think $20 is too bad. I think it's a bit worse than what PlayStation do, but at least it's not the full $60, $70 that they could charge, so I hope it's not anything worse than that. And yeah, I wouldn't mind spending $20 on games I already own that I want to play again to play them a bit better, especially considering that I can play them for free the exact same way they were before if I want to. I think it's a fair compromise. I think it is a little bit confusing. I think that makes sense for Nintendo. And when I say $20, I mean $20, £20, €20 with exceptions for tax and tariffs, and etc., etc. But then obviously with Switch 1 titles going forward, including that one, that means any Switch 1 game that comes out, you don't have to make sure you buy like the Switch 2 version to save money or anything. You just buy one of them and you get both from then on. Maybe they'll even do like any purchase since January 1st or something, just to try and appease some people that have like just bought Xenoblade Chronicles X. They're going to reveal this ability with a first look at a new game edition, I guess, being Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It's going to look exactly like Breath of the Wild looks when running at 4K on emulators, allegedly. Which I haven't actually played, but I have seen some footage of, and it just looks crisper, cleaner, smoother, I think with the faster loading as well. And they're going to announce that launches on the 5th of June. To close off this segment, we'll get please take a look at this. Then we will get a look at Metroid Prime 4 in 4K, or upwards 4K. So it's going to go over everything they showed off in the last Nintendo Switch 1 Direct. They're going to show the psychic abilities, the new planet, new enemies, and then they're going to show off that new suit that they teased at the end. I think that was kind of a tease for the Switch 2 trailer. I think they're going to show off what it can do. My guess is it's some kind of speed boost related, which if you watch my Metroid video, that is what I really wanted. I wanted to see them take the speed booster and the spine sharking and try and find a way to get that into Metroid Prime without it just breaking the game or not being fun. This suit looks very sleek and very agile. I saw somebody compare it to like a motorbike, so I think that would be perfect for the speed booster. So I hope that that's what they do with it, and yeah, I think they're going to show off in this trailer, and it's going to be fairly obvious that it's in 4K and is a Switch 2 enhanced version, because it's just going to have that extra level of crisp. I'm assuming this whole Direct is going to be in a 4K YouTube video. If not, that might complicate things, because I don't think it's going to be so obvious when things are upgraded, but I think for this exact reason, it is going to be in 4K, so we can definitely see it. If you have a 4K TV, if you're on a 1080p, then it still might be a bit harder. But yeah, so then they're going to end the trailer, and it's going to be, that's right, what you just saw is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, featuring higher resolution, improved frame rate, and increased visual fidelity, which is their way of saying ray tracing. Or like ray traced elements. I don't think it's going to be like full ray tracing. Going to carry on, you'll be able to play this edition of the game on Nintendo Switch 2 when Metroid Prime 4 Beyond launches. It's fall. I think it's going to come out, I guess would be September, October kind of time. Probably whichever one Pokemon doesn't use, because I think Pokemon Legend is going to be around there as well. Then they're going to finally start some headlines, and we're going to think, okay, it's time for a breather, but wait, there's more from Nintendo. Straight away, I think it'll be Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I think they'll show it both. it won't look quite as improved as Metroid Prime Remastered. I think it is going to be more than just an uprise. I think it's basically going to be a remaster, but one that's done a bit quicker. I feel like maybe they saw how people liked Remastered and went back and did what they could to improve it. I mean, they've had 2 years since then anyway, so hopefully it does look as good as Metroid Prime Remastered. And it's going to look even better because it's going to be in 4K. So they're going to be, as they're showing this off, they're going to be saying, you won't have to wait until 4 to play Metroid Prime on your Nintendo Switch 2 because Metroid Prime 2 plus 3 Remastered are coming this summer. And then it's going to fade to black. New gameplay. Metroid Prime Remastered Nintendo Switch 2 edition will be available to all owners of Metroid Prime Remastered at no additional cost when Nintendo Switch 2 launches June 5th. I think that's going to be the one exception to the upgrade fee, because Metroid Prime itself was only $40, and I think it was just a nice gesture of goodwill. I think it improves likelihood people are going to buy Metroid Prime Remastered before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. It just gets people more excited in Metroid, and it's probably going to look amazing. I think it'll probably look even better than 2 plus 3. It'll probably make me play for it again, even though I just played for it, but I'll do it again. And then, I think I forgot to say, but Prime 2 and 3 Remastered will come out in the summer. So if this is June, then that'll be like July, August. Hopefully if it's August, then Prime 4 doesn't come out until October, because I need time to play through both of those again. Side note, if they don't announce 2 or 3 yet, I'm kind of giving up on them, and I think I'll look at either emulating them in some way, because I have the Prime Trilogy, I have the discs, or I might just load up Wii U and play it that way, but I haven't had to do that in a long time. I'm not a bit concerned it might break, or that the sense bar doesn't work properly with my current setup, but I'll figure something out. I'm definitely playing through those games before 4 comes out, because it's been way too long. Then they'll get into the actual headlines, or the third-party indie stuff of like, this is going to Switch 2, that's going to Switch 2, and this other thing is going to Switch 2. Not going to go into every great detail. I've kind of covered all the third-party stuff in my last video. Yeah, I think it was last week. But just for some ideas, I think this one could include, I think one of the first ones they'll show will be Final Fantasy VII Remake. They'll probably want to establish that Japanese and especially JRPG audience, and just having Square on board will be a big deal. We'll probably see them another point, which I haven't written down, but I should talk about that. I think it will just be Remake initially. I think they'll schedule that for fall of this year. I don't think they'll say it, but I think Rebirth will be next year, as is rumoured. Maybe they'll give a small tease of just a small clip from Rebirth with 2026. I think that'll be fine. We'll find out later. It's coming to Xbox as well. And then Elden Ring and Resident Evil 4, I think, might be some others. Plus indies, you know the drill for the headlines. I'm interested if they do actually call it headlines. I feel like because it is literally third-party stuff, I think maybe they will go, these third-party games are coming to Switch 2, and just kind of go through them at a quicker pace rather than stopping and starting for every individual one, just kind of Final Fantasy, Elden Ring, etc., and just get through it a bit quicker, because otherwise this presentation could be like 2 hours long. Which I'd be down for, but I don't think Nintendo wanted to be. So then we get the Fade to Black without the headline introduction, and it's a 3D Mario all of a sudden. I think it's gonna look like Odyssey in spirit of like running around, exploring, finding loads of moons or stars or whatever it's gonna be everywhere. But the worlds are gonna be bigger, and I think they're gonna be interconnected in some way. I think we'll see that in this trailer. I think they'll show off a quick, fast travel system. Quick and fast being embarrassed, confusing me. I think it'll probably just be, you go into a map, select, and then pipe comes up, Mario jumps down it, and you're there. I think they'll be showing off the kind of SSD, if that's what you still call it on the Switch. I think it's still an SSD. Yeah. How that's working to reduce load times, and how this open world isn't going to be like, oh, you've got to travel for an hour to get anywhere. It's like you can just zip all over the place whenever you want. And I think that's going to be really cool. I think they'll show Yoshi as kind of the horse equivalent of like running around, but obviously there's going to be platforming with him and some combat, maybe. But I bet there'll be something new for Yoshi. I can't tell what it is, but some new thing he's never done before. And I think they'll tease, but not fully reveal his involvement, but they'll tease DK in some way. I hope he's the villain, based off the Mario movie. Probably going to be some kind of partner or somebody you switch to play as every so often. But yeah, they're going to tease him anyway. Then they'll go back to the studio and talk about it, what they showed off, explain it's the Odyssey team, etc., and how they're carrying on the evolution of that kind of style of Mario game. And they'll say we'll talk about it at a later date, and it's due for release holiday 2025. That is their biggest title of the year for them. Well, Mario Kart is probably going to sell there, but it's, you know, the hallmark title, the big release. So after that, I think they will probably get somebody out on stage with them, or as like a separate video. I think they'll get somebody from Square Enix, and I think they'll give the first look at Dragon Quest XII. Now, I'm not a Dragon Quest player at all. I've never played a single one. I would really love to. I mean, I'd love to play through the whole series, but I think if I'm going to play any, I'll probably give 3 2D HD, whatever they call it, a try at some point, because that looks really nice. Or maybe 1+2 if that's a better place to start. I've heard 3. Anyway, point is, I don't know what anything to say about Dragon Quest XII, but I bet it looks great. I bet the fans will be really happy. We'll see a slime. I know that much. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big detailed breakdown of like 5 minutes of gameplay or anything. I think it's going to be like an early look teaser. We probably won't see it again for another year, maybe. And then I think it'll probably be late next year, 2024, maybe 2027 title. I think they'll show it off here. Confirm, you know, Square Enix are supporting the system. The game isn't going to be switched to exclusive, but maybe it's going to be their lead platform. It'd be quite cool if they could confirm that. And then they'll briefly go, and 1+2 are going to be getting, and 3 are going to be getting, what do they call them? Nintendo Switch editions. Nintendo Switch 2 editions, sorry. And maybe they'll do those for free, because that's third party. We'll see. But yeah, that's going to be Dragon Quest XII. Then it'll be back to the headlines. Again, I think straight away there's going to be a Nintendo game. I think they're going to show off Fire Emblem 4 Remake. It's going to be a Switch 1 game, but they're going to say, yeah, it's got a Switch 2 edition with these improvements, and we're going to go, is that improved? Okay, sure. And then they're going to say it releases in July. That's kind of their summer game for Switch 1 users who don't upgrade, and then also a fairly quick second game or second release cadence for these Switch 2 users who want something new to play. And when I say we're not going to notice the upgrades, we are going to notice them, but it's going to be like, you could have done more. And then it'll be third-party stuff, Cyberpunk, Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Why not? And again, at the end, Fade to Black, no introduction, new trailer. It's fantasy. Seems really cool. Seems really big. Seems really epic. Looks really nice. It's all a bit confusing. You're like, I'm not sure what this is. But then it's like, that art does look a bit familiar actually. I wonder. And then combat starts, and yeah, it looks like Xenoblade combat. It's Monolith Software. But it's not Xenoblade, nothing related to Xenoblade or Xenogears or any of those games. It's brand new. Their fantasy RPG that's rumored to have been, well, I think they had like hiring positions for it since like 2017, 2018. I think it's that one. I think it's probably nearly done, if not all done already. But I think they're going to give it a date of spring 2026. I think that's going to be their big early title for next year. Kind of taking that, I guess the Kirby and the Forgotten Lands spot, we'll call it. And yeah, they'll talk about it, show off what they showed off again. Explain this is the first new IP from Monolith Soft in however many years it's been. I think it's been quite a while at this point, especially if you don't consider Xenoblade Chronicles a new thing with Xenogears and was it Xenosaga? I'm not a Xeno expert, but I have been waiting. Ooh, maybe they'll do this here as well. Actually, I've been waiting for Switch 2 to start Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I was going to start it, I think, late last year, but I was like, nah, I should just wait, because you never know. So maybe, yeah, they would also announce Switch 2 editions for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, 3, X. I mean, the X one, we got somebody data mined it and saw a 60 FPS mode, so maybe that'll be a thing as well. I guess if they're only going to announce one, it probably will be for X. I kind of want to play Chronicles first, though. Hopefully they announce all of them, or just that they will run better without any kind of addition. Next, they're going to be excitedly talking about how the Pokemon Company are excited to be supporting Nintendo Switch 2. I'm going to say, please take a look. And we'll get a message from Tsunekazu Ishihara, I hope I pronounced that one right, who's going to confirm the Pokemon Company's support for Switch 2. Just give a brief little message about that. And then there'll be a trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 edition, with upraising, and finally a Pokemon game with anti-aliasing. I think that alone could be enough to make people go, oh, this art style is actually quite nice. And yeah, more stable frame rate. I don't know that they'll actually say that, but yeah, they'll probably just say it runs better. I mean, hopefully it already is 60 FPS, maybe they can go above that, but let's not dream too big. Then it'll cut back to somebody else from the Pokemon Company, the guy who usually does the presents. I can't remember his name. He'll explain the upgrades. I think they'll probably announce the launch date here. My guess would be that kind of. I don't know. I feel like September's right for this one, and then Metroid Prime will be October. I think that feels right, but it could be the other way around, because they've said they said late 2025 in the English trailers, but in the Japanese one it translated to fall. So I don't think it's going to be that late. But yeah, I think that's going to be really cool and something I really want, because I love Pokemon. I can't wait to play it, and even if there is no upgrade, I'll be playing it on Switch 2. So hopefully there's just some way to take advantage of that. But then he'll fade away and we'll think it's going back to the Switch thing, but then there'll be a flash of something. I don't know what. Maybe fire, maybe electric, maybe both, maybe something else. It'll just be a flash, it won't show anything at all, nothing to go off of, but then we'll just get text. Pokemon Generation 10 will launch for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. Just to have that people's forefront and not showing anything off of it, so they can still do a full reveal at Pokemon Day next year, and then have their usual kind of announcement schedule for the rest of the year. Or just to announce it at the Switch 2 launch so that Pokemon fans know that they should get the Switch 2 to play Generation 10 at the best it can be. Then we'll go on to the final lot of headlines, but again, it's going to start, or somewhere in there, there'll be a Nintendo game. This one's going to be Planet Robobot. We're all going to wonder why it's in this presentation. They'll probably confirm a Switch 2 version, but again, it's like, how HD can Kirby be? Maybe the anti-aliasing of the LSS will help, but I don't think it's going to be super important. I think it's just, it's going to be there. And then final batch of third parties and indies. For this one, I'm guessing a Mario Plus Rabbids 1+2 collection on Switch 2, or Switch 2 edition of both of them, or something along those lines. Again, I went into a bit more detail on that in my last video. So then we'll come to the end. We'll get to the outro. They'll recap everything they've shown off, the release date, price. They'll announce pre-orders start, I'm going to say tomorrow, but since I've started doing this, there's been a rumor from Insider Gaming, I believe, which suggests it's actually going to be the following week. I'm going to stick to tomorrow. I'm going to say tomorrow as of the direct. I'm going to say April 3rd. Early morning pre-orders will go live. Hopefully, if pre-orders go well, hopefully I can get one. That's pretty much all I care about at this point. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, they're going to cover all that, talk about all the games. There'll be a montage of every game showing off while they're talking about it. And then they're going to finish with saying we've focused on Nintendo Switch 2 titles coming in its launch year for this presentation, but of course there will be more beyond those. Please take a look at this. We see a beautiful, gorgeous looking field. We see in the distance behind the hill a large full moon on the horizon. We hear the sound of approaching horse hooves, getting gradually louder and louder. And then we hear a beautiful, re-recorded, full orchestral version of the Ocarina of Time title theme, with the doodle-doo, and then the logo, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, as the camera pans over the most beautiful representation of Hyrule Field we have ever seen, as Link on Epona gallops through the field. The title fades away, 2026, and the video fades away. And that's all we see. And then we come back to the studio, and they just say something like, I bet you can't wait to see more of that. Well, we'll have more information in a future presentation. Now, since making this, I've got a little document I've done about this. Since making that, the Zelda movie got a release date on Nintendo Today, the new app, for March 26th, 2027. So I think either they'll release it late 2026, as they probably would have planned to anyway, and then it's out and ready for the Zelda movie, or maybe they will delay it till February, March, April to kind of double up on the marketing for both, so they can kind of feed into each other, especially if the story of this movie is based on the Ocarina of Time story. That would just be perfect timing. I forgot to mention, at the end of the trailer, I think I will cry. If it looks as good as it does in my head, how I imagine it, and if that sound of the title theme music, oof, that could get me. We'll see, especially if the rest of the direct has been good as well. I'll already be feeling pretty happy about things. So yeah, that'll be their last announcement for the day, and I'll say thank you for watching. And on that note, thank you for watching. So I've been doing this for 10 weeks now. I took 1 week off thanks to work. But other than that, I've hit every week, and it's been really good fun. So thank you very much for joining me on this journey. The plan is going to be for next Wednesday when this direct airs. I plan to react to it. Maybe I'll do it live. Maybe I'll post a video afterwards. Maybe I'll just cut out some of my biggest reactions. I'm not sure. But I'm going to at least film my reaction to it. Maybe it's boring. Maybe none of this happened. Maybe it's the worst presentation ever, and then I won't upload anything. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that. And then afterwards, I'll probably try and do some video on what I thought of it in general. And then hopefully there'll be enough things to do a breakdown of each one every week in the run-up to the launch. And hopefully we actually have a release date, so I know that that's going to happen, and it's not going to be have to do 50 videos to do that. Obviously it's not going to be next year, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that's hopefully going to be very fun. It might even be less of a wait for the actual launch of the console than it was waiting from reveal to this direct. That's interesting. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you during or after the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Oh, see you next time. Bye.